Welcome back, and another week, and it's talking technical, and it's so nice to speak to you guys. And every week we are flooded with some beautiful requests, and it makes me excited because there's just so many newcomers sending us some emails. In the past we always realized that it is guys that's been in the market for a long time, but I must be honest with you, the last couple of months, you can always say there's always a newcomer that asks, and that makes me so excited because then we know that we've got a new group of investors. But apart from that, that makes me happy because why does it make me happy? Because they are starting to fall in love with my passion for almost, can you believe it? I think it's 40 years. So let's kick off with the first request, and it is Purple Group, PPE. And this group is really struggling. I mean, they've got a wonderful business model. We know that they having easy equities, and there's some big financial houses that's also invested in them. But it looks like that the share price is really struggling. And this is a weekly chart, of course. And by the way, somebody asked me, Frans, sometimes you look at weekly charts and sometimes you look at daily charts. What's the reason for that? And that actually comes from the email or the SMS or the WhatsApp, whatever we get, sometimes from Twitter. I get a feel of what is the request. Is it a long-term request, a medium-term, or a short-term request? And if it is more of a medium to a long-term request, I always move over to a weekly chart because you don't want to rush into a daily chart because that can maybe give you some extra noise. And if you are a long-term investor, then of course a weekly chart is the best chart to look at. But let's have a look here. Purple Group, first of all, let's use the old system. Where is the trend line? The trend line is clearly to the downside. It shows you that the momentum is down. And if you see a chart like this, there's no rush in buying it. Because what do we see? The momentum is clearly to the downside. And every time that there's a little bit of a bounce, there's guys starting to sell the share. But on the other hand, we also know some of the viewers that's been watching this show for so many years. They also know that I always look at maybe an opportunity if there's a turnaround. Now look at this chart here. Although it is selling down off, and you can see that this gap between the resistance line and the support line is narrowing. You know that if you look at this chart, what do you see? You see a beautiful falling wedge in the making. Now, a falling wedge, as we all know, eventually, and remember the word eventually, is a positive formation. Although it is selling off, you'll get to a point where either it's going to break out of this formation to the upside, or it's going to consolidate and then give us a wonderful buying opportunity. So if I look at this chart, momentum still down, nothing to make me excited. But on the other hand, where is this resistance line? This resistance line is sitting at 174. And look at that. I will use that line there. It's actually a little bit higher, excuse me. It's 177. Above 177, this falling wedge can break out to the top and it can maybe go to 2 Rand or even 2 Rand 05 in time to come. But why do we want to preempt it? There's no reason doing that. The simple thing is just to wait, give it time for us to show its real action, and then we can act. By the way, above 177, yes, it can break up. Where will our stop loss be? We will use the low of that little blip there, and that will be 167 as our stop loss. But there's no rush to run into the Purple Group at the moment. Let's look at Renergen. This share, I mean, we've seen so many documents written about it. It's a wonderful company. It is just going to perform. Nothing can go wrong. And in actual fact, I've got a client that bought it quite a while back. And he was so positive about the share that he believed that this share can maybe go much higher. But at the time when we spoke, I said to him, listen, I'm seeing a head and shoulder formation here. And I'm just a little bit nervous on this head and shoulder formation, and he is definitely a long-term buyer. And this is a weekly chart. And I said to him, listen, have a look here. There's the left shoulder. There's the head. And look at the right shoulder. Maybe you need to be a little bit nervous. But what is the beauty of it? It actually played out almost to the T. And that makes me a little bit positive about Renergen at the moment if you look at the chart. Let's have a look here. There you are. If you do that, there you are. And you draw in that line there, you can see it almost played out to the T. There was the target because we did the extension down there. There's the target. He reached that, and now it's starting to show a little bit of strength. But they say there's something. When will we get into this? It is quite simple. There's no rush. You use that same little resistance line. There you are. And I'm just going to use that. There you are. And what do we see? You will see immediately. I just want to take those out because I don't want to confuse you. There you are. We may be sitting on an inverse head and shoulder. A left shoulder there. The right, the head. And we may be working on the right shoulder. So if I look at this chart, then I say to myself, where's this neckline? I just want to draw that one incorrectly. The neckline is sitting exactly at 28 Rand and 18 cents. Above 28.18, it can maybe give us a nice rally to the top, a relief rally. And I will show you now why I say it's only a relief rally. If I do that projection from the head to the neckline and I extend it to 32.18, yes, we'll be positive about it, but let's just do a moving average quickly here. See if we can add that quickly in, and then you will see why I say this is probably just a bounce in a market that is still negative and that it wants to still go a little bit down. I just want to change the color for you guys there. There you are. Let's use that line. And there's the 40-week moving average. And that is the long-term moving average that even the fundamental analysts are using. So if I look at Renergen, guys, only above this neckline, I'll be positive. Yes, it can go. But for the long-term investor, let's just have a look here. The 40-week moving average is a clear move. If it breaks above that, usually you get a wonderful rally. If it gets below that, be careful. And from there, look at this wonderful rally from 18 Rand to 36 Rand if it breaks up there. So always use that as your guideline. If a share trades below the 40-week moving average, the best is to sit on your hands if you are a long-term investor and you don't want to trade in the stock. And if it is above it, you just hold comfortably at it. And I have always one rule always, and I say, if you are happy with your profit, just lock it and go. But if you sit on it for a long term, nothing wrong with that. Let's have a look at Tesla. I mean, Mr. Elon Musk, I read the other day, he's one of the guys that lost the most money last year. But I mean, he's so rich, I don't even know that he knows how much money he's got. But look at Tesla. I mean, can you believe it? This share was well above 400 Rand in November 2021. It dropped all the way down to, let's call it almost 100 Rand, 112 Rand. And what do we see? It gave us a beautiful relief bounce from here. And now everybody wants to know, can we buy the share? So let's have a look at the candles, just to give us some guidelines here. First of all, we've got a beautiful inverse hammer there. In actual fact, that week already we saw a nice dragonfly candle. What is a dragonfly candle? A dragonfly candle is usually telling you that there's some buyers buying into the dip. That's exactly what happened. We saw then a beautiful hammer, a little bit of a nervous candle, and then from there, beautiful bullish candles. But for me, there was the clue. Let's just get that. The clue was, while the share is above, let's get that level, 125.01. The exact level there is 124.48. While it is above that, the momentum is to the top. But where do you want to buy now? Because maybe sometimes you've lost out on these candles. You don't know the candles. You don't know when to get in. And it's quite simple. I will use again a resistance line. There's my resistance line. And I'm going to move back to line chart just to give us a little bit of a better feel. Oh, and there we are. There we see a beautiful inverse head and shoulder, maybe in the making. Same story here. We've got the left shoulder in place here. Maybe we've got the head. There's the right shoulder, and there's the magical 40-week moving average. Look at that. Every time that it breaks above that, wonderful up to the upside. And there you are. Look at this inverse head and shoulder. Where can it go to? Let's just do the projection for you quickly. If it breaks above the neckline, we'll get it now. I'll give you the level. Oh, look at that. It can maybe breach that 40-week moving average to reach the target. The neckline sits at 176.7. And if you buy above 176.7, I will use, that's a little blip of a blip there as my stop loss. That will be 135.10. And where can it go to if it really goes off to the races? 239.09. Let's have a look at gold before our time is up here. Look at this massive rally. I mean, can you believe it that gold had a rally from about 1,643 all the way up to 1,940? But this is a lamp ball formation. Everybody that's bullish on gold, just watch out. The lamp ball formation is always a warning formation. There's my worrying point below 1920. I don't say that the bull run is over then, but then what I say is if it breaks below 1920, we can maybe go back all the way to this little pivot at 1870, and don't be surprised, it can maybe come back all the way down to 1835 to go off and go higher again. Massive rally. I think we need a breather and then maybe higher from there. Well, thank you for visiting the show and watching our website. We'll chat again, and the website is www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.